I'm Justin Davis, and this is Runcam's RC. Hey guys, welcome back to the Runcam channel. I'm Justin Davis. Hey, don't forget, there's a free drone on my channel. The Darkmax 220 is being given away on December 15th. So go back in my history of videos, look for the video called Free Drone, click on it and make a comment below so you can get entered to win that one. So last reminder before Christmas hits, I want to get this to your door. We're going to send it 2-day priority shipping, so it'll probably be to you before Christmas. So don't forget to enter in for that free 5-inch racer. It is pretty much ready to go. I believe there's a receiver on it as well. But today's video, we're going to talk about the Runcam Split 2. I had the original Runcam Split, and if you don't know what that is something that will allow you to record 1080p video right on your 5-inch racer, or maybe under that. Some brushless micros are coming out, some different frames from Dimitri over at Flex RC. I believe he makes a micro racer now that will hold a Runcam Split. So pretty cool. You can record 1080p on a micro, a 5-inch, or one of the greatest benefits, I think, is not having to tow a GoPro up the mountainside. If you're trying to fly some long range type stuff, the extra addition of weight from a GoPro is just unnecessary these days. So we're not doing that anymore. Everyone's using these Runcam Splits, and they are actually producing some pretty good video. So I built this specifically for this video for you guys. It's an old Phoenix RC frame that I got, I think probably 3 years ago. It cost me like $100 for this frame, which is kind of crazy, but it does have 3mm arms. It has 2mm top and bottom plate, and it has plenty of room on here for a lot of gear. But since everything is getting so compact and tight nowadays, I've shed a lot of weight off this. This weighs probably less than half the original weight when I first built this 3 years ago. So all the original components are gone off here. I have new Emax LS 2206 motors on here. Those are those light spec motors, and I'm running Racecraft 6-inch brand new props from Racecraft. They just came out this past week, so I'm super excited to be able to test this out for you guys and do something a little bit different with the Runcam Split 2 versus putting it on a 5-inch racer. So I just made a cruiser here, and we can put some crossfire on there. We can do some TBS crossfire with that crossfire micro receiver, and you're going to get like a mile's range out of it. And this is just a cruiser. It's not really a freestyle machine. It's meant to give me a long distance and something to enjoy the flight, just going out there with a little bit of range. And I'm using a simple battery on here. I'm just using this Turnigy 4S. This is a 2650 milliamp battery, so should get me about 20 minutes flight time on there. We're gonna do some more testing with that, but let's go ahead and pop the top on this guy, and I'll show you that Runcam Split version 2 on here, and I'll show you the camera that comes along with it. And then we'll go outside and I'll show you some footage from this particular quad right here. It's pretty awesome. So let me go ahead and pop the top on this guy, and I'll show you where the Runcam version 2 is mounted on there. It's just a standard mount on there, so it's going to work on any of your 5-inch racer stacks, as long as you have enough room vertically to get that stack in there. If you have your ESCs out on the arms, that'll actually lower it a little bit and just give you just a little more headroom if you're running something like a lowrider type of setup on your quad. Here's just a little closer look at this stack, and you can see this metal plate on top. This might be a heat sink, or it might be something just to protect the electronics. It also has a little bit of an edge right here that you can see it moves, and this little piece sticking down right there, that helps your SD card stay in. If you had a problem with it getting bumped or bouncing out, you'd lose your SD card. So it's nice that they include that, and some venting here for this chip right under there. So hooking it up was not a big deal. It's actually pretty easy to install this. A lot of people looked at it and they thought maybe it might be too complicated to hook up, but it's actually very easy. What it does is it hooks up to where your camera hooks up to on your flight controller, so no big deal. You just run these 3 wires right here, and that's all I have is 3 wires. This signal wire, the ground wire, and the red wire right there going to the flight controller, and that's pretty much it. And they also fixed the voltage range on this one. The original voltage range on the original Runcam Split was only 5 volts, so some guys were having problems and they were frying it. They didn't have a 5-volt regulator on their flight controller, so they ended up having a big problem and losing their Runcam Split split, but this one runs from, I believe it's like 5 to 17 volts on this one, so quite a big upgrade for the voltage range. That means that most of you guys won't be frying this version 2. Now the next big thing that they fixed was the SD card slot. For some reason, other guys were having problems where when they plugged in their quad, there was a short somewhere in the SD card slot, and they ended up frying their Runcam Split version 2. Don't ask me why. It seems like they might have had an odd connection in there somewhere. But this one has that problem fixed, and that is no longer a big deal. One of the other biggest changes they did to it was, in my opinion, adding a new version where we connect the Wi-Fi. This is the Wi-Fi card that comes with it, and this just plugs into a port on the side this time, and it comes out horizontally like this. The old version would set up like this. This is the Wi-Fi card. It had pins on it. It was kind of a pain. It was kind of actually kind of bulky, and it didn't have the right clearance on some people's quads. This stuck down or hit the quad, and kind of a pain. You had to also have, if you had it in there inverted, you had to have it this way. So this is kind of awkward and weird, and also these pins can bend, so no longer dealing with that. We can now plug this in like you normally would think that this would work out on a quad, because you want to access this from the side for your USB port and for your Wi-Fi. Now over on the opposite side of this board, on the other side, you have 2 buttons and a series of LEDs. These LEDs will indicate the power status, the recording status, and what type of recording mode you're in. You can switch between photo mode and video mode on here. It's pretty cool, and you can do that all by these buttons right here. Now the first one up at the front is the Wi-Fi button, and the second one down is going to be your power and shutter button. So if you wanted to stop the video without using the app, you can press this to start it or stop the video, which is pretty cool. Now another nice feature about this is the fact that when I plug in my quad, it's already defaulted to set up to start recording automatically. That's not great if you're leaving your quad on the ground for maybe a minute or 2 at a time getting set up, but you don't want to plug in your quad until you're absolutely ready to take off, because you're going to be running up some of that precious SD card space if you just let it sit there and record. But you'll hear a beep on this when it starts to record as soon as you plug your quad in. Now I kind of like that feature because I don't have to open up the app and fiddle around with all the settings in the app. I'm not really a big fan of using the Wi-Fi card. I set everything up the first time when I set this up with my app, and I got my settings all the way I wanted it. But if it was a super cloudy day, I always keep this in my box just to bring it along, just in case I need to change any of the image and contrast settings. Now the next huge improvement on the Runcam Split version 2 is the lens that they include with this one. Now this one is standard. This is called that RC25G lens, and it's more similar to something like a GoPro lens. So this is made for recording 1080p at 60 frames per second versus this more like smaller lens over here. It doesn't let in as much light. It had a little distortion on the edge of the image some people were complaining about. So this is going to be a much better image quality coming out of this camera, and when you're putting it on your computer to make your videos, you're going to be much more impressed with this video versus the original Split video. But this was a good start, and they've made a lot of changes on this second version, so I think you're going to be much happier with this version. Now this is the Runcam user manual that comes along with it. It's in English and I believe also in Chinese on one side, Mandarin on this other opposite side. But it's nice because they tell you and they show you the schematics on everything here for where the Wi-Fi module goes in, the Wi-Fi mode switch button, power button, shutter button, where you have a buzzer on here. And oh yeah, I forgot to mention they also upgraded the microphone on here. So you'll see in my video that this has a really nice microphone on it. When I'm going into the wind, sometimes it's not quite as noisy as the other one, so there's not so much distortion on this one. You can actually hear the motors humming, which is pretty cool for guys that want to record the audio. Now over on this side, it looks like German. And down here they have some information on how to put this top plate on there, that metal plate. Make sure that nothing is touching some of these chips. You want to put this metal plate on the correct way, otherwise you might have some problems. They also give you basic camera operation in the different modes right here, and they let you know that the app works on iOS and Android. And you get some extra cables along with this one. They also gave you an extra FPV out. If you wanted to watch this on a little monitor or something like that at the field, you can do that by using this if you have like a little 7-inch monitor you want to go out to. And there's also a little QR code on the Wi-Fi module. It'll just give you a little more information on how to set everything up. Now the app is actually the same app that Runcam has used for all of their products, and it's cool because like a lot of the DJI apps, this is the same app. You just switch between the product that you're trying to connect to the Wi-Fi. So in this case, we're connecting to the Runcam Split, and you plug in the Wi-Fi module, turn on the Wi-Fi on the unit. You'll see that light up on there once it's light blue turns on the board, and then you can go into your camera settings in your Wi-Fi network, go ahead and connect there, and go back to the app. Once you're in the app, it should show you a live preview of what's on your camera right on your quad. So that's pretty cool. You can press that little button there, and it'll take you through the steps here to make a solid connection with your board. So you just go through all these steps. You can also connect manually, but pretty nice app included with it. Now, one thing I didn't talk about and share with you is the LED status indicator, what these different lights mean. The blue one, when you first start it up, that's going to be your first LED, and that's the Wi-Fi status light. So if you press the button over here on the other side for turning on the Wi-Fi, that little blue button will light up and let you know that your Wi-Fi is actually pushing out to your phone. So the next one is going to be green, and that's changed by pressing the opposite button from the Wi-Fi button, which is going to be your modes button, and that puts it into photo mode. And the third LED down is going to be blue, and that's for your video mode status light. That will let you know if it's recording or not. You'll see that blinking back and forth if you're recording video, and that's defaulted set up to start recording video when you plug the battery in. The next version is the orange LED on here, and that's the OSD setup, and that lets you know you can go in and fiddle with your OSD. And a red light, this is what's always powered up once you're getting power to the Runcam Split version 2. That lets you know you have a good solid power connection to the board. And also, guys, if you long press the power shutter button right there, you can turn it on or off. So if you don't want this on and recording video or taking photos, you can turn that off, but you'll still be able to see your camera feed. Now, one other thing that's pretty important that you need to know about this is that if yours freezes up or crashes somehow, which it can happen, the way you reset this board is you take your finger and you hold down both the Wi-Fi and the power shutter button at the same time, and that'll forcibly restart the board. So overall, I was really impressed with the Runcam Split version 2, and I'm going to say thank you to Runcam for sending me this, because this is actually a huge improvement over the original Runcam. A better camera, we have a better Wi-Fi module here that plugs in from the side, and it doesn't stick up or down like this one did. This one was just awkward to use. So they've also fixed the SD card slot problem and extended the power range on this up to 17 volts. So I think they're on the right track with this, and Runcam really pays attention to the FPV community and what we want to see, and they listen to the forums as well. So if you guys are seeing some type of problems with some of these products, make some comments in the Facebook groups, and they will be sure to probably note those problems and make changes for the better for everyone in the community. So pretty cool. But if you wanted to build a nice little mountain cruiser or long range quad, this is definitely the setup I would go for. You don't have to use this giant frame like I did, but if you have some TBS Crossfire with a micro on there, you can plug that into the back of your FrSky radio, and you will get a much better range than your standard typical full range receiver. So get out there and cruise some and make some nice videos. So let's go out to the field and do a little cruising with this, and I'll show you some video from this Runcam Split version 2.